So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream with live peoples, and welcome to Bunny's Designs. It's recorded for Ustream.tv and also YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. Alfie is under the desk, being a good boy for a change. So thank you for joining me. This is one of the videos on my birthday art party for being on YouTube for a year, sometime in June, not sure when it was, and this is the 1st of June. Excuse me, I'm going to cough that. So I've been playing with a number of my new products, but one of the old ones is these huge Chameleon pens. They come in a fancy little box that opens up and becomes a stand. And I think they won an award for that because it's very simple and you just kind of put the pen in and then pull the pen out you want. It's very, very clever. And the idea is to have 10 shades of colour in each pen. So there's 22 pens there. So that's 220 colours. Works very similar to my little book here, 500 or 600 squares of colour, and each colour has 10 shades, so very strong and very pale. So that makes 6,000 colours in my little book, very similar to here. In fact, I'm going to start with a green actually. So you have a bullet end. Just going to have a mint. You have a bullet end and you have a brush end, and some of these, I say, they've been at uni with my daughter, so she's bashed them about a bit. And then you have a chamber. So if you see the chamber, there's like a little blank pen tip in there, and that's got blending solution in it. So the idea is that you carefully push the two until, and then you count. And always remember to put the bullet end at the top and the felt pen green end at the bottom. Otherwise you'll contaminate the clear fluid. And the longer you count, the paler the colour will be. To Bunny's Designs, anybody else that's popping in? So as you can see, it's quite pale. It's getting stronger and stronger and stronger until it's to its normal colour. Now there's probably more than 10 shades there, and that actually is a very bright, vivid green. And the trick is to count. Now I know people think, oh, that's ridiculous counting, but they do go through photocopy paper, so you need a couple of spare sheets underneath. But if I had pens and I was taking the tops off and putting them back on, I couldn't do that because I've got really bad hands. I only have to do it once. And there is a video on the website of somebody drawing with these and somebody colouring in with ordinary coloured markers. And there's very little in it by the time you've counted and by the time you've taken the pen tops off and put them back on again. So you need to decide where the light's coming from. Now some colour books are quite good for that. And you've also always touch first because you may want that paler than that. So again you touch back. Now these have been with a student at university for 2 years. So she had them at college last year as well. So they've been used. So those nibs, if they get very soft, they want replacing, but I'm just going to play with them as they are. And I haven't actually used them since you brought them back, so again, that's paler. So what you can do is you start, and sometimes there's no colour at all. So I would have done that one, and now I'm going to go that way. So I have a very pale one, and then I have one that's got shadow. So if I'm not happy with that end, I shall do it with the bullet end and show you the difference. You don't want to ram it on, you just want to touch and then hold it down. Some of them, they just touch and there is a gap. Again, you don't want to force it on. Sometimes there's a gap and sometimes there isn't, so you just do it very gently. And you can do 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, depending on how much colour you want to take out. So I'm going to zoom in and you can see what I'm doing. If anybody's got any questions, pop them in caps. So welcome to Bunny's Designs. They say this is a first year birthday celebration for being on YouTube a whole year. So as you can see, that's very pale and that's just got a little bit. Now if you look here, you can see there's no colour whatsoever, absolutely no colour. So if I had a very pale long leaf, I could use that. Have a look at something else. Oh, just 2 seconds. Just bear with me 2 seconds. Sorry, I just had some bad news. Oh, wish people wouldn't. Bless. Right, let me have a look. So, as long as I keep that level, it's going to hold. So, you can do this. So there's going to be no colour in there whatsoever because I've counted for too long. So what you can do is you can get used to where you want it. So here, now this is a bit of an awkward size. Sorry, there could be a bark alert. It's the postman. Here is pale, but I want that to be darker. It's a bit of an unusual leaf, is this actually? Let's do this way. So that's quite pale. And the trick is that once you start, you have to keep going and you have to be quite fast because you've got to slide across the back bit before it dries. So basically what you're doing, if you went like that and then you waited and then you went like that, you'd have a line. But if you do it continuously, you can get some quite nice effects. It might not do it now, it might have gone back to its original colour. So we'll count for 6. So you get used to the counting. So you've got to think of the size of the space, the shape that you're colouring, and you've got to think of how pale you want it. So the bigger the space, the longer you need to count, if that makes any sense. Is that not zoomed in enough, Kenny? The light seems to have changed a bit. Just bear with me 2 seconds. Just bear with me 2 seconds. Does that seem better? Oh, right. So let me have a look. This is probably the wrong shaped leaf. This is a better leaf. So what you do is you start, and again, if you can't do much, you get used to knowing where you're going. And you just have to keep going. And then you can